anxiety and or depression. Well, we don't have time to do both of those,
Yeah.
right? So I was immediately worried that we're not going to have time to do a talk about both of those. So we're going to talk about anxiety. So as we move into this, here's where we're going to go. We're going to interchange anxiety and worry, right? Anxiety and worry, I think we can interchange those. I'm going to share part of a story that I'll finish at the end of the talk. Talk about me worrying, we worrying. Does God know and care about my worries? Right? I'm going to finish that story, and we got some takeaways. Okay? First, let me read you the start of a story. It's going to be a cliffhanger. This guy named Jim Downing. Anybody ever heard of Jim Downing? Bet you haven't. Jim Downing was a gunner's mate in World War II. This is his ship at Pearl Harbor on the morning of December 7th, 1941, West Virginia. Okay? So, Jim was in an outfit, a brand new outfit called the Navigators. Navigators is a non-denominational Christian organization, started in the Navy, and he was Navigator number 6, okay? So, Saturday night before this event, he's at a guy's house with some other new navigators. They're having a little rally, right? And so they spent the night at this guy's house, very nice of him. Next morning, they're making breakfast and they hear explosions. What's going on? Thought the Army was checking their guns, but no, it was the start of the attack. So when they figured that out, they piled into one of the guy's cars. He took them down to the harbor and was dropping off guys at their ships. The West Virginia was berthed next to the Nevada. The Nevada's here. Here's the actual pier, right? So the Nevada is burning and sinking. The West Virginia is on fire. And so Jim Downing jumps out of the car, runs over the Nevada to his ship, to the stern. That's the back end of the boat, I think, right? Stern and bow. Right? Help me out. I'm an Air Force guy. I don't know this. On fire. And there's big caissons of ammunition on the deck. So he grabs a fire hose and he's hosing down this ammunition. There's bodies all around him. Meanwhile, let me see if I can pick up the story here. There was a tanker ship full of aviation fuel. He had offloaded his aviation fuel, but he was trying to clear the harbor to keep from getting sunk and blocking the harbor. Do you see some potential for anxiety here? Right? So, No-Show had unloaded most of its 6 million gallons of aviation fuel since arriving the day before. It still carried enough gas on line and vapor that a Japanese bullet in the wrong spot would create an explosion dwarfing anything seen so far. So they're strafing this ship, right? One after another. He's 400 yards away from it, on the back of the West Virginia, watering down the ammunition. Just think of this picture, right? Like this, okay? So, trying to prevent this catastrophe, the crew of the No-Show, the ship, they're underway, barely moving, but headed across the narrow harbor to a safe berth. I watched, fascinated and fearful, as the Japanese planes swarmed like bees toward the No-Show. I was only about 400 yards away. One of those bullets is going to hit pretty soon. I thought, God, I'll be with you in a minute. Right? Right? And so the minute passed. My fire hose kept spraying. The No-Show kept inching farther into the harbor. The Japanese planes kept diving and firing. God, I thought, I'll be with you in another minute. Another minute passed. And I'm going to stop right there. So I think I got your attention, right? We'll come back to the rest of the story at the end. So, here we are. Do you think anxiety can be hereditary? Did anybody have a parent that was a professional worrier?
Inherited.
What?
Divine inherited.
Inherited. Parents has a worry gene trait, and somehow you end up being a worrier too? Could it be something that's passed down from my parents, from my family tree? My experience, my mother was codependent. Who knows what codependency is? It's where you're living your life through the other person. If they're successful, you feel good. If they're a failure, you feel bad. Not healthy. And she was a professional worrier. Guess what? I inherited that gene. So, yeah, I think it can, or at least it can be modeled and then repeated, right? Even if it's not hereditary. Things I worry about. Do you guys resonate with any on this list?
Yeah.
Anybody worried about your money?
Check.
Do I have enough? Right? My credit card's maxed out. How am I going to pay my bills? Your health. Some of you younger guys, maybe not so much, but you get to be my bracket. Start thinking about that a little bit more. So you can see some of the pictures here. We got money. There's a picture of our guys at this man's house. We had a little get together. Very gracious. That's my family. You can worry about your family. That's my daughter and her husband and my 2 granddaughters. Ministry. Here, Noah. We were just talking about Noah's, a couple of the band members are going to be leaving. And he says it's constantly a low-level anxiety, worried about fulfilling that schedule.
Yes.
What about acceptance? You know, you can start when you're a kid about the Little League team, whether you get chosen or not, right? Then you can move on to your job. You're in a new job. Am I going to be accepted? Source of worry? Okay. Anything you would add to this list that I missed?
We just said your list is a little short.
What'd you say?
We just said your list is a little light.
It's a little light, okay.
We agreed, but your list is a little light.
We're just priming the pump here.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not going to be a problem getting to more in the
That's
list.
right.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
it's common to us, guys, isn't it?
Yeah.
Every one of us, at some level, we're worried. So, I came up with this little ditty. It's pretty cheesy. You can see this, right? You know the old 7 seas analogy, the pirates, you're sailing the 7 seas. Well, I said, well, I can think of 7 seas that are some causes for me to worry about. And here they are. Again, cash, money. My career, am I going to get promoted? Am I going to get the raise? Am I going to keep my job? Right? My house, my castle. They didn't build it as well as I thought they should have. Long story. My car, the darn thing won't start again. What? You don't start them anymore like this, do you? You start them like this. I gotta get up to the cuties. Oh, buddy. Anybody ever have any anxiety about the ladies in your life?
Only always.
Those of us that are married, it doesn't stop, does it? Cuisine? Trouble pushing away from the table sometimes? And then collecting my stuff. I got all my stuff with me. I gotta be sure my stuff is protected and insured. Again, a light list, right, John? I mean, we could keep going. But you get the idea. Eye test, eye chart. Work with me here. If you got your phone, if you happen to have an Amplified version, I want you to specifically look up this passage in the Amplified. Why? Who knows? Somebody, what's the Amplified doing for us? How does it help us? Well, look at this verse. If you're familiar, you see these things in braces, brackets here, like here. What's happening there is the people that did the Amplified translation added some of the shading that we don't get in English that's in the original language. So read through this with me. Likewise, you younger men, now this is Paul talking to, Peter talking to the church. You younger men of lesser rank and experience, been there, done that. Be subject to your elders, okay? Seek their counsel, and all of you clothe yourselves with what?
Humility.
Humility. That's easy, right? Toward one another, tie on the servant's apron. Right? For God is opposed to the proud, the disdainful, the presumptuous, and he defeats them, but he gives grace to the humble. Okay? There's a motivation. Therefore, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God. Set aside self-righteous pride. And then, tomorrow, after you've conquered that, the next thing, right? Conquered that pride thing. So that he may exalt you to a place of honor in his service at the appropriate time. And here's the kicker for us warriors. I love the way they expand this. Casting all your anxieties, all your cares, everything that's bothering me, all your anxieties, all your worries, all your concerns, once and for all on him. Why? answers the question. For he cares about you with deepest affection and watches you very carefully. And do you see, if you're like me, you get some more of those words in there, oh man, doesn't it make it richer? It just really makes it rich. So I've got some things that are going to help you that I'll pass out later about this verse and some others. All right. Next one. More amplified. If you've got your phones, go to Philippians chapter 4. Now, this is a familiar passage, right? But again, the amplified is going to help